Three, two, one now. Welcome to another installment of Cool Kids Table, the Cool Kids Table podcast. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the Cool Kids Table podcast. Website, the Cool Kids Table podcast.com. Twitter, the Cool Kids Pod. My guest today is a returning guest. He was on here at the beginning of quarantine, and now he's back doing big things. Everything's going great for him, and let's just jump right back in. Fabian, thank you for coming back.
Yeah, man, definitely glad to be back on. I'm kind of a pro at this now, so
Yeah. I like your show, man. Let's start off with that. Ignorance is Strength podcast.
Yeah.
Episode previous, George Hernandez was on yours. He had been on mine. He was on yours. I listened to that, and I was like, damn, dude, this is a real good episode, bar, whether it has 1 million views or fucking 100 or 1,000, this is what podcasting's all about,
Mm-hmm.
Do a great job hosting. And then, like we've talked about, George is just a great guest, great person. So his vibe is just contagious, like, fuck it. Like in this day and age of cancel culture and can't say the wrong thing, he's just like, fuck it, says whatever's on his mind, and it's refreshing. And I honestly enjoyed the fuck out of that one. Like, I like your show, but that one I was like, damn, dude, this is what it's all about. Yeah,
and I think, he has a lot to say, he's very versatile with that as a guest, And I think I'm gonna have him back on for episode number 19, and that's gonna be interesting because we're gonna get a bunch of big boys. We're gonna talk about big boy fashion, man.
That's what's up. I saw that. The whole, like, you can't do this, you can't wear that on his post. Like the jumping in the pool with like a white shirt. You're just like a fat guy with the white shirt on. You're not really covering anything. So
you're not hiding a goddamn thing. Yeah.
How's that going for you? How's the show working out?
It's really good, man. I think I've been lucky enough to have an abundance of guests and people willing to be on. And just everybody I've asked so far has been, they've been excited about it. I think everybody wants a platform to reach other people, and when I tell them, like, hey, your episode has, like, it's day one and it has like 30 downloads, they're like, oh shit, because 30 doesn't seem like a huge deal, but for a small ass podcast on the first day, yeah, that's a big deal, and that's, 30 people who maybe didn't know you. I never saw it as like this whole, like, oh, we're gonna do something huge with it, To me, it was like, just jump in, see what happens. I think that was my attitude with it, just buy the equipment, start your shit, and see how many people go along for the ride. So at first, I think I will say that initially there was a lot of interest, and I think I had my my peak early so far. People kind of dropped off along the way. I don't know if I would attribute that to the quarantine stuff going on, but then started to pick up again, so I guess just some peaks and valleys there.
I've seen the same thing. As soon as, like, the first, I think they call it the first stage or second stage, my downloads just dropped, but at the same time, I felt like I was doing 2 or 3 a week during quarantine. So there was a lot of backlog. And so people were eating it up, 2, 3 episodes a week. And they were probably burned out from me and the podcast, just kind of like, it's not the same thing, but it's the same thing, because we say we're not going to talk about quarantine, and then everybody starts talking about quarantine. We're not going to talk politics, and then they get into it. So I'm not even complaining, but it just kind of dropped, and I started seeing it come back up. So I'm like, it maybe across the board, everybody was stuck inside. Now they could go out. Maybe they don't have those 2-3 hours of leisure, but I try not to look at the numbers, even though I do. Because the same thing, I try to say, like, if one person's listening, that's enough, right? But then you do get caught up in it. One certain episode spikes, and you're like, what was that episode? What was different about that one? Because you want to kind of see that, you want to keep seeing that, right? You want to keep seeing it grow. And so, man, I went through the same thing. Like, when I first started, like a year ago, the first 10 episodes were all like, two. And then it was just like, started teetering down. Then it would come back up and down. Holidays are bad. For me, the weekends are terrible. That's why when you release on Sundays, I'm like, that's everybody has their own thing, right? But for me, I release on Thursdays, and Thursday, Friday is really good. Saturday, Sunday, I get like no plays, which I'm used to. And then start off the week, we start off kind of slow, and then it starts getting packed up, and then Thursday skyrockets again. So it's kind of, you'll find your way because you'll see the patterns, you know. And I see the patterns now with mine. It's just like the peaks are a little higher and the valleys aren't so low. Because even on Saturday and Sundays, before I would get literally 0 plays. Like I'd be like, dude, my people do not fuck with this at all. And now you'll get like probably double digits on the weekends, but not, you know, it's still very, very low compared to what it is on the day it drops, which to me is cool.
It's that's different, man. Like, I guess everybody has their crowd too, because like, I don't know, I don't know what it was about Sundays. I'm just like, nobody does shit on Sundays, and to me, it's like, all right, we're going to church, children, you know, and so that's kind of blasphemous there, I guess, but you know, it's just another sermon for y'all to ingest right there. And I think I do see a lot of plays the first day. Everything starts to drop like Monday, Tuesday. You know, it picks up towards the end, surprisingly. You know, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday will go back up right before I release a new one. So I don't know what the fuck the trends are, man. But, I mean, I've just been noticing it. And I think, too, like, I don't know. It kind of depends on the topic. Sometimes people aren't too interested in the topic. You know, I had a couple friends on. I had a couple of couples in a row. So like the first, you know, couple, they own a business together and everything, and they actually have like the highest, you know, day one listener, peak, and I'm like, oh shit, you guys are gonna do well. And then after that day one, everybody just stopped listening, and then I guess maybe people just didn't want to hear about couples that week or something like that. But then I had the other married couple on, and they were talking about fucking World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And I started getting random people on YouTube telling me like, "Oh, I love the episode." I'm like, "Shit, man! I guess there's something for everybody." You know, you just gotta throw it all out there, and you know that's why I like to have a variety of guests. I think somebody once pointed it out to me online. Like, it's funny how you had one guest talk about, you know, you need steroids, and then on episode 4, you had another guest say like, no, you don't need any of those supplements or steroids. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's just differing opinions, and you got to have those different opinions on your show, just to get a perspective from every side, every angle.
And I think that's the right way to do it. I feel the same way. A few people have told me like, do you run out of guests? Did you, like my compadre, right? My best friend, I've had him on like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I looked at the pros, man. And once you're booked on end, like, you know, not to compare yourselves to the greats, but like the Joe Rogans of the world, the Tim Ferriss, they're booked like 6 months in advance. So at the beginning, go look at their first catalog, look at their first 100 episodes. They have the same 7, 8 people over and over, you know? So like while you build that rapport, you build that. Now I'm confident as fuck. If you listen to the first episodes, I know I was kind of like timid, a little microphone shy. Like now I have like, okay, even if it's just one person listening, I know that it does reach people, maybe not the way that I say things, but the guests that I have on, because I'll get those DMs saying like, yo, dude, I love the episode, yada, yada. It really touched me with my whatever. Different person, completely different lifestyle, episode number, whatever, really resonated with them, you know? So it's kind of like, okay. So the people that are listening to now, I call it like my cult, like they're in here, you know, they listen to this, like you said, your sermon religiously. They wait for it to drop. They're mad when I don't drop every week. And I'm like, who would have thought? And it's not to pat myself on the back, stroke my own shit, but just kind of like, okay, this took time. And if these people are liking it already, like, let's see where we are in a year from now. Because a year ago, I was getting excited about like, oh, so-and-so retweeted me. Oh, so-and-so liked my picture. Now it's like, cool. I'm having these people on, and it just kind of builds a bigger audience because you have people from the left, people from the right, fucking people of color, people of this, people of that, and you just kind of like, there's something for everybody. And that's why I told my brother that I was going to do an episode tonight. He's like, who are you going to have on? And I mentioned you, your last episode and everything. That sounds dope. And I'm like, and it's cool because he's doing his thing in a similar way, but in a different style. Like his show's kind of similar, but it's not the same thing. And I go, and that's what I mean. He has that different perspective, you know, as far as mine, but it's cool because we just conversate and then go, good luck. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to go good.
I think that's what I tell people the most is that I don't give a shit what we're talking about. People enjoy the conversation. You know, like you could be talking about the randomest fucking thing that nobody knows anything about, but it's the relationship you build then and there in the conversation. People can get hooked by that. You know, and if you have no chemistry, like within the first, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, people are going to tune out.
Yeah,
but I mean, luckily I don't think I've struck out there. I think I've had good, you know, chemistry with all the guests because I know them so far, you know, most of them.
That's good.
And
go ahead.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the feedback I got too, that was what was really, really good. And I knew it was going to be good. I had on episode 10 kind of like a little anniversary. Well, not anniversary. It's not a year, but, you know, a little like, you know, rounding about kind of celebration for the podcast. Because I'm like, hey, 10's significant because I've talked to people who have dropped after like 2 or 3, you know, or after 1. And I wanted to get my friends back on because they were on the early episodes, you know. So when we got them back on episode number 10, people already knew a little bit about their personality and whatnot. And that shit, we called it the shit show because we were drinking and, you know, just talking bullshit stories from back in the day. I think people really enjoyed that. You know, I made little videos and everything beforehand to kind of you know, hype it up ahead of time. People got a kick out of that. I got the most response from that one. And it's crazy because, you know, you mentioned having listeners that wait for it. Some of these people have no idea who they are, when and where they started listening. You know, as far as the U.S. goes, I've got like the entire, you know, West Coast, half of the southern states listening regularly. You know, I was really surprised that I got like a few, probably like there's got to be like 2 or 3 people that listen regularly, like in Maryland, in the Washington D.C. area. Because, you know, I look at the map, I'm like,
yeah,
this is always like highlighted, right? And I'm like, I don't know anybody in Maryland or Washington D.C. So they must have just heard it once and just really kind of gotten hooked on it, you know. But then you start seeing things pop up like the fucking Philippines. I'm like, you guys understand what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you understand the references over there? Italy, you know, Ireland and the UK. I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. Like, I think I put it out on one of the episodes right at the beginning. Like, if you're from this country, like, reach out. I want to hear from you because I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna go make a custom T-shirt or fucking the stickers that I just, you know, ran out of, and I'll go mail it to them or something, man, because that's cool, you know.
And that's how it starts. I would see that shit too, right? Mexico. I have a few friends in Mexico. Then I'd see Colorado. I have a few friends there. Texas. I'm like, this is all social media. But then you start seeing like the surrounding states. And then I had an episode during quarantine with somebody from Australia, and Australia just popped off. And then I'm like, it's not like 1 or 2, you know, it's like a lot. I'm like, well, her following is listening. And then you start seeing like, well, England, like you said, Italy, and like it's all, well, she has worldwide followers. So people are different from different areas. And then like the people that share it, you know, my homie has a cousin from fucking Salvador, from Australia. My other friend has friends up in fucking Seattle, you know, so it's like, well, they're resharing it because they were on it. And now that person's listening to it, even though we have no idea who they are, they're listening because of the person we brought on. And then, you know, the musicians I've had on, they tour the world. So when they retweet it, fucking share it, whatever, they're getting, you know, so it's crazy to see it just kind of like it turns blue, right? The map just starts turning blue, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And I try not to get caught up in it, but we're human, right? I'm like, damn, that's sick. You start seeing people listening, and then it's like one's an anomaly, right? They just checked it out. But then when you said, like you said, it's recurring every time, you're like, okay, that's a subscriber. And then you just get the messages on social media, you get the likes, and you're just like, okay, whatever's going on is working. Let's just keep going. And that's why I was like, fuck, I got to do something tonight, even 20, 30 minutes, just so they know that it's like, hey, I'm trying to fucking record. It's just tough having everybody on the schedule, trying to have everybody accommodated. It is what it is, but it's a fucking joy, man. I enjoy it. I was talking about it this weekend. I was like, dude, if I could pump one episode a week or one every other week, like, I'll be happy. I'll be content, right? As life gets back to normal, we see how things go. And it's just kind of like reassuring to see people say like, oh man, hopefully you find something. And I'm like, dude, would you like to be on? Like, no, I'd be terrible, but I just want to listen to it. You're like, that's crazy. You know, do you listen to it? Like, yeah. And they'll show me like the little screenshot of like subscribe, you know, on fucking iTunes. Or I'm like, that's nice. You know, thank you. So like, keep up the good work. And I feel like I'm doing nothing. I'm literally just sitting here talking. The guests are the ones that are kind of like running the show. I'm just part of it. And so it's kind of cool to be like, not appreciated, but kind of be like, okay, this is working. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned, you know, you don't like to get caught up in it. Fuck it. get caught up in it, you know, toot your own horn every now and then. You know, if you're not going to do it, nobody else is going to do it, you know, because I do like to kind of throw it out there and pump it up a little bit because other people get excited about it. You know, it kind of like even your guests, right? Like I think I told George, like, who the fuck do you know in Italy, man? Like, who's listening to you? You know, you got excited about that, you know? And I like making the guests feel good about it because, you know, you don't know how they're reacting to it. Some of them, maybe they're a little shy about it. Like, oh, did I mess up? You know, but when you tell them like, hey, your episode's doing pretty well, you know, it makes them more likely to come back on again or to tell somebody else about it. Cause like, if I fucked up on an episode of a podcast or something like that, and I thought like, shit, I don't want anybody to listen to it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll share it. Right. And I wouldn't share it with anybody. Yeah. But if I know I did well and you as a host, you're telling me like, you know, you're getting good feedback, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, so maybe I should share it with people, you know?
That's true. I mean, I do kind of, because for a while there during quarantine at the beginning, I was getting a lot of hate mail, a lot, like where I was just kind of like, dude, this is whatever, like it's whatever, you know, it's cool. That means they're taking notice.
Crazy. I haven't gotten any of that yet, but I want to see the first one so I can just laugh at it.
No, dude, it's funny, like it is like, but then it's like when it's like 5 messages a day and it's all like your show fucking sucks. I can't believe people are like, and there's like it's a private page and you have 0 mutual followers. You're like, and they have a fucking 300 posts and they have 1,000 followers, so it's not like a fucking a fake page, you know? You're like, who the fuck is? So for a while there, I was like screenshotting them and like, this is what I deal with, and like blurring out their name, right? And a few people were like, what do you tell them? Like, I just ignore it. Like, there's too many of them, you know? And then they see that you're giving them the time of day, they're going to do it more. And then one time, finally, I snapped on one guy. And I still blurred out his name, but I was like talking shit back. And then I was just like, that didn't even feel good. Like, what am I doing? So I just stopped. I said, I'm going to stop doing it. And then now I made my page public, the podcast page. So now, like, I'll just get random messages here and there, like, what the fuck? Who would listen to this? I'm just like, that's cool though. You know, if you're taking the time to comment on it, like, fuck it, I'll take it.
Sure. I mean, at least it's not the fake Indian accounts asking to see Bob and Virginia.
Oh yeah, it's true. Fuck, but it is what it is. I mean, it comes with the territory. That's why everybody says don't read the comments. But I'm like, I still don't get enough comments where I can't, like, you know, like the Theo Vons of the world where they post something and they got 100 comments in 10 seconds. You know, I still have time to be like, oh, cool. Enjoyed the show. Like, give it a little heart. Thank you for listening, you know. But then it's weird because you're like, what the fuck? Why would they take the time to listen and then hate on it? They just be like, not for me, you know.
Maybe that's what it is, man. Because I'm not too active on the Twitter at all. Like, maybe you get some of the hate mail from there, huh?
No, on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. So that's where I see where I see the things. I'm just like, I just take it. Now I'm just like, cool, you know, thank you. It looks like there's a lot of comments because people are talking shit.
That's crazy, man. You told me they didn't like your list or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's brought up. Not often, but it is one of the pet peeves of people. Like, do you have braces? I'm like, not anymore. They're like, you sound like you have a lisp, like a heavy lisp. And I'm like, I do. Deal with it. But another thing I wanted to touch on was Smokey O's.
Oh, yeah. Smokey O's Quality Q.
Yes, right? Sir. Dude, that is intense. I'm not one of those people, you know, when quarantine started and it was if you don't come out of here with the hustle, losing 20 pounds and you fucking run a business and you got your master's, like, it's not about fucking time. It's about this. You know, I was like, this is such bullshit, dude. Everybody's going through this differently, you know. And then some of my friends are killing it, doing great things during quarantine. You know, they're doing it. And then yourself, I was like, dude, I think the podcast came from the quarantine. And now this is coming out of the quarantine. So tell us more.
Yeah, so, you know, you mentioned people losing weight and shit like that. They close the gyms the majority of the time, so that shit was out the window for me. But it'll come soon, hopefully. But, you know, the podcast thing, you know, we talked about last time, you know, it was just I wanted a project to kind of spark my interest again because you start getting bored of fucking watching Netflix all day. The barbecue thing, you know, something I thought about for a while. The reason why I started making barbecue at home and the reason why I bought a smoker was because I was kind of looking around. I'm like, there's no good barbecue places around here in the SGV, you know? Like, I was trying to order barbecue one day. I'm like, fuck, do I want to order Lucille's and spend like $100 or, you know, Dickies and it's fucking terrible? Because it is. Yeah. You know, I'm like, there's no good barbecue places around. And if they are, there are some around, they're expensive as fuck, you know? I'm like, I could just make it at home and it's better than most. So I bought a nice little electric smoker, you know, started experimenting with that, literally smoking meats every fucking day. You know, because I'm not satisfied if it's just okay. I want that shit to taste good. You know, I sometimes I would immerse myself in like cooking channel or on YouTube and keeping it on some of the pitmaster, like some of the pros. You know,
yeah.
And I wouldn't even necessarily like watch it and listen to everything they're saying. I would keep it in the background, like I said, just immersing myself in it while doing other shit, right? And eventually the same videos would pop up over and over and over again. And I kind of knew already, like, okay, he's gonna say this. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, so it's kind of like learning a different language when you're an adult. You know, when you're a kid, it's easier to learn a language, but when you're an adult, they say that the best way to learn a new language is immersion, right? Just kind of throwing yourself in there. And so I did the same thing with the barbecue. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it on there, and I guarantee I'll pick up something along the way. You know, and I did pick up a lot of the tips and tricks for, you know, how to make for something like chicken, right? How to make the skin a little crispier. For something like ribs, how to make it, you know, on the outside have like a nice little bark, but still at the same time be tender and juicy. You know, all those little tips and tricks was just because I immersed myself in watching this shit kind of half-assed. You know, I wasn't originally going to start up the barbecue thing so soon, but unfortunately I became a victim of the old corona, and I'm shit out of a job for a little bit. Not worried about it, but I'm like, hey, this barbecue venture is gonna have to speed up a little bit, you know.
And kudos to you, because there's plenty of people just saying like they would fuck it, you know, fuck it. I guess I'm just have to wait around and see what happens, you know. But you're actually grabbing life by the horn, saying fuck it, you know. I'm gonna take care of business. And that's what's the word I'm looking for? Memorable. So, and it looks good, man. No lie. I was like,
commendable. You mean? Yeah.
So yeah. And I told my assistant, the person that helps me on the weekends, I was like, yo, I'm getting us barbecue on Saturday. Like, what? Like, what are we celebrating? I'm like, no, my homie's gonna start up, and we gotta show some love. And they're like, all right. So I sent them the pictures. Like, what do you want? Like, oh shit, like it's for real. So I was like, yeah, it's for real. I was like, I thought it was gonna be like a little plate, like, oh, here you go, some 2 little ribs and like a fucking side of mashed potatoes. I was like, nah. And so right off the bat, that sounds like, and even your text that came through to confirm the order, like, dude, you're a fucking pro.
You gotta, you know, image is everything, you know, sometimes. And even though I know you all know me, you know, and I think the majority of the people that are supporting, you know, they've been supportive of everything I'm doing, you know, the podcast and whatnot. Or fuck, man, like today I posted on the Facebook, I'm like, you know, you people are fucking amazing, man, because, you know, sometimes I get so caught up and busy that I don't show that same support to people. Like, oh, cool, you fucking posted a picture of your kid, that looks great, you know. I'm kind of like a cheerleader behind the scenes sometimes, because I'm like watching shit, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but at the same time I'm multitasking, right? But people online have been fucking amazing, man. They're supportive of everything. And I knew those people would support. But I was looking ahead of that. You know, eventually when if I start to expand, which I will, but I'm not sure what the next date will be after this weekend. When I start to expand, image is a lot. Image is everything. And if you don't have, you know, your shit set up to look professional, to seem as professional as possible, people are not going to give it a second look. You know, they might, if word of mouth is strong enough, you know, but in my case, I think, I don't know. I'm very big about that. You know, everything I do, you know, like even with the podcast, I made the little logo, the sticker and everything. I want to do t-shirts next. You know, I make the little animations and the videos and stuff like that. I'm not an expert at marketing or fucking anything like that, but I know what I like. And every time I've seen something that I like, it's because they have a cool hook. You know, they either have like a cool like video out, or they just look professional, you know, and that was my big thing with that. And so, like, if I can do it as simply as making a template every time you put in an order, and I know people were like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know, then I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going to take the time to do it. It was kind of time consuming today. I literally spent probably all of, I posted the link like at, I don't know, like 4 or something like that. So I spent all of 4 to like 8 o'clock confirming orders and, you know, getting like a shopping list together and all that. So just planning all that. So it's pretty time consuming, but I think it was worth it.
No, and once you get, it's trial and error. Speaking from experience, you know, I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
I'm not a pro, man. I'm winging it, and fortunately for me, it's been word of mouth because people keep liking it. But as far as like, I've tried different things. Okay, that didn't work. I tried things where I was like, this is good but not great, and then now it's my number one seller, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, like something here is different than what people are used to, and it's been, you know, obviously I'm grateful, but at the same time, it's like eye-opening. Just because I am in love with something doesn't mean everybody else is going to love it, you know, because
right.
Except for the sauce, that secret sauce I made, everybody's like fucking salad already, you know, make me a batch for that for my party type of thing. But, it's, you know, it's kind of nice. Reassuring is the word, you know, you kind of feel like, okay, there's something going right. But at the same time, you know, like trial and error. Tried this, didn't work. All right, let's try something else. Oh, this is killing it. Cool, you know, because everybody will tell you, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. What would you pick? But then next week when you sell out of something and you don't sell much of another thing, you're like, okay, they're telling me both things are equal, but they're ordering this. So I'm going to cut this off the menu. Now you bring 2 new things and let them battle it out and see what makes it to the end. And that's why I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm like, this is good. I have my whole execution, like one day shopping, next day prep, and then we're selling. And so at the beginning, it was hectic because it was like everything at once. It just all over the place. So trial and error. And then you see like, dude, some things take a lot more time, even though they're so minuscule, those minutes add up and those minutes become hours. And you're like, dude, I can't believe I spent fucking 2 hours doing this bullshit, but it's part of the job and it's what it is. It's a job. So I treat it as it, you know, super, like if I was cooking for my family, I'm not fucking playing around. Cause I've seen few people like that say those type of things or do those type of things. I'm like, I'm feeding people, you know, I can't risk getting somebody sick or anything like that. So I treat it like I would at a professional level. So I think in my case, and I think in yours, you'll see that professionalism goes a long way when it reaches a consumer and you get the returning customers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, too, I wanted to make it enticing as far as like shit. Like I was originally just gonna do like, all right, maybe just ribs, and like they have to get the 2 sides that I'm giving them. But I'm like, no. People need choice, you know.
Options.
People don't want to be dictated to and be like, you know, this is what you're gonna get. So I'm like, let's cook up a few things. You know, I know I can do the ribs really well. I know tri-tip is something that is quick, you know, because the ribs take long. If you want them done right, they're going to take like 3 hours each batch, you know. The tri-tip you can probably cook in an hour and a half altogether. But everything else, you know, I can make ahead of time, like the mac and cheese and stuff like that. I can make the night before, keep it somewhere that I can reheat it. And then a lot of the stuff I can make in between too, because smoking takes a long time, you know, and I can multitask, you know, but it's going to be a challenge, and I'm going to see how it turns out, what kind of help I need, because I'm going to do it all on my own, you know, and that's going to be the biggest challenge, because, you know, it's trying to smoke maybe like 6-7 racks of ribs at a time, and then I'm going to use another smoker to make the corn and the sausages and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to be checking my temperatures everywhere. It's gonna be a little bit of a battle royal there, man.
Good luck to you. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be hectic, but just remember your end game. You know, like this is worth it. Because there's moments where I'm like, fuck this. This weekend was like 100, and I'm on the fucking grill for fucking an hour nonstop. Like, there's no restaurant where it's like, oh, somebody's coming in right now and they're gonna help me out. You know, it's me and my helper, and it's just fucking high. And I said, this is what you want. This is what you want. Remember it. So once it's over though, I'm like, damn, that was fun. That hour went like this, and you're happy. You're glad people are fucking telling you how great it is. I can't wait to try it again. I'm gonna try this next time. I'm gonna try that. You're like, cool. You're content. But in those moments, you know, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? But at the end of the day, you know, I pride myself on what I give out. You know, I tell everybody, like, your plate looks exactly like my mom's plate would look. You know, I treat everybody equal. Like, this is my heart and soul here for you. You know, like this is,
Yep.
I'm proud of this. And that's something that I pride myself in, because
Mhm.
then the people that have helping me too, like they're not fucking around. You know, we're taking this seriously. This is as well. While we're here, we're at your orders. You know, you're paying us money, so we're gonna fucking show you the love and support back.
Yeah,
And it's fun, but it is fucking hard work.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how often I can do it. You know, I think I was thinking originally just do once a month, but if I see, you know, this weekend is a huge success, you know, I might try to do, you know, bi-weekly, and if the demand is really high, fuck it, let's do weekly. You know, I commend you because you're doing fucking two days a week, right? You're doing both weekends,
And now I'm gonna
so
add Friday starting this week because the demand is there.
holy
You
shit.
know, yeah, the demand is there. So people are telling me to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's so hectic as far as like the prep and everything that goes on behind the scenes. Where I'm like,
Mhm.
I could do 3 days right now, but I don't know how it would be on the fourth day because I'm riding on fumes as it is on Sunday already. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna push it by doing one more day and then see how it goes. If Fridays pick up so great that I feel like adding Thursdays, then I'll do it. But as of now, you know, and it's a lot of work. Everybody's telling me, dude, you're doing it by yourself. I'm like, no. I have family help me with prep. I've had friends help me, like either volunteering or just pay me in food, you know, because they see that this is my only income. So they're trying to be as helpful as they can. My daughter's mom's like helped me with I live in Moreno Valley. So she let
Mhm.
me use her front yard to be able to sell. So like people tell
Okay.
me it's a one man show. I'm like, no, dude, I'm maybe the face of the show, but this is fucking 8 or 9 people putting in a lot of time and work. One of my friends let me store my grill, my canopy, my table at his place because I can't fit everything in my truck driving back home. So I'm like, dude, this is
Mhm.
not a one man show. Like, there's so many people and hands that go into helping, you know. So it's like that's why I'm like, you're gonna need help. As for as good as you are, you're gonna need a restroom break. You're gonna need to eat. You're gonna need to be drinking your Gatorade, your water, your Southern Comfort. Like you're gonna need that 10
For
minutes
sure.
of peace, even if they're just like checking the temperatures while you just grab some water, check the messages. The food was amazing. Get
Mhm.
that reassurance that like, okay, I'm doing something right. Let's keep it going. So do as much as you can by yourself, but don't be afraid of help. And I'm sure
Yeah, I'll
people would
probably,
volunteer to help you out, man. The support you have, like it's beautiful to see, you know?
yeah, I'll probably tag my dad in too because he's trying to start his meal prep business. You know, like I told him because he's like he used to make meal prep for my brother and I because he was really I don't know, he wanted us to eat healthy and whatnot. I'm like, I told him what I would eat during the week. You know, I'd be like, Dad, I'll fucking go to a drive-through three times a day. I'm not busy. He goes, let me make the food for you. I'm like, all right. You know, he'd make like chicken breasts and and tri-tip sometimes as well. And you know, like healthy vegetables and whatnot. It was really good. So I'm like, you know what? I'll probably get him to help out, see if he can pimp out that meal prep business because he makes it for a few people and it's you know it's pretty lucrative for him, you know. So I'll probably get that going, and it's interesting too because I think you know, I mentioned it on my show when I was talking about side hustles, the one that just came out on Sunday. Um, it's pretty cool to see that this avenue has opened up where the restaurant business is really taking an ass kicking, you know. People like yourself, you know, you're able to fucking kill it out there and you have that platform now in lieu of what's going on, you know, and I think that's fucking cool, man, because you see, I think in Amani especially, you see a lot of fucking home-based food businesses popping up, you know, and I've seen them because you know when you like one, you start to see all the other ones pop up online, right? Somebody makes fucking cheesecakes, Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, you know, more mariscos people, obviously taco people. I'm like, holy fuck, this is like the old days, you know, where you can like what do they call those things? Like a bazaar where you have like fucking food everywhere. Think like Star Wars when they're walking around like you know the shops and the merchants and shit. That's what it reminds me of, man. And that's fucking cool to see, you know, because it's everyday average people making a buck for a skill that they have that they otherwise wouldn't have a platform to use, you know?
And I agree with that 100%. And I think it's like a lot of people, they're back against the wall. Like, what are we going to do? Because I talk to
Mm-hmm.
them, you know, I've said it before. I'm not a hater. the people that sell next to me, I went over there and bought food to like support, you know. And they're like, you're the guy from over there, right? And it's especially as Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, it's full of hate. It's full of like, my shit's better. People come to me and they tell me, hey, you don't have pastor? I'm like, no, dude, theirs is fucking amazing. That's what I eat, pastor. Like there's a lifting tide lifts all boats, you know, and it's that mentality it's me against everybody, you know. I'm like, dude, I went over there and I showed them like I gave them the number for the city, like as far as permits and everything. I'm like, dude, just so you don't get in trouble, you know, cover all your bases. And they're like stuck, like, why are you helping us kind of thing? And I'm like, dude, I'm doing good. Obviously you're doing great. They have a line of like 10 people. I'm like, cover your ass, you know, so that they don't fucking fuck you over in the long term. And then they came out and then bought food from me. Like, this is good. This is different. I'm like, yeah, it's because I don't want to tell them it's because everybody's selling the same shit. But I was like, I got to do things differently because I need to stand out because they've been established there. You know, they got 2-3 years there. And I'm the new guy on the block. Who's going to want to try me? So I got to try something different. And telling my friends, you know, they're like, why would you post? I posted on my personal page, right? Like, dude, these guys are next to me. If I'm not here, buy from them. Like, why? You know, next time I'm going to go try them. I'm like, that's good, dude. Not everybody's going to eat my shit. Like, Fabian, you got to be aware. I'm sure you know. Not everybody's going to buy your things every time you post up. It's like, you got to build that audience, build that returning customer that comes once a month. But like, I can't expect them to come. I love In-N-Out. This is my In-N-Out analogy. Like, I do not go to In-N-Out more than twice a month, you know? And that's probably my favorite burger place as far as like a quick meal. It's In-N-Out. And I don't go there more than 2 times a month. I'll go to McDonald's once. I'll go to Jack in the Box another time. So there's enough for everybody. You feel me? And it's just crazy to see like the support, especially online, like on Instagram. These cevicheros, these marisco places follow me. They're like, hey, bro, your food looks bomb. You know, hope you sell out this weekend. It's like, cool, man. Same to you. Your food looks delicious. I have to try it out. You know, that mentality of like, if he sells, that means they're not buying from me. You know, it's like, that shit's outdated. Like, there's enough for everybody. And
I mean, I can see that. You know, I think that's very old school, like you said, Hispanic. I don't know. I'm going to say Mexican because I don't know if it's all Hispanic people. But, you know, coming from a Mexican family, I know that mentality. It's like, oh, well, fuck them. They're not as good as us kind of thing, you know, because it's that pride. We want to be great at what we do. You know, we want our mom to have the best fucking mole or cocido or whatever the fuck she makes, you know? And, I mean, I'm not mad at that, but at the same time, you do have to adapt, you know? If there was another fucking barbecue person that popped up next to me, I'd be like, let me go see what they're cooking, you know, just because I love variety. Like you mentioned, you can't eat the same shit every day. I mean, you can't expect people to be like, oh, yeah, let me get it again this weekend. Let me get it again this weekend. You know, I think once you haven't had it for a little bit, you know, the heart grows fonder for it anyway.
Yep.
You know? Like I used to eat, like I told you, my dad's meal prep stuff. I used to eat the same meal 5 days a week, right? And it was like 2 times a day, you know? So after like, because he makes really good food. But after about a few weeks, maybe a month, I'm like, this shit's not that good. Like, as good as I thought it was,
your
I'm
taste
like,
buds, yeah.
It's like building up a callus to it, you know? I guess you need something different. You need something more. Maybe kind of like the drug addicts, you know, who have gotten used to.
Yeah, chase that high. I was going to say, you got to make a Instagram page for it as well, because Instagram's really good for food, especially like there's a lot of pages dedicated to food. I haven't found any in Almani, but, you know, like there's like a Taste of Whittier, Taste of Riverside, where it's public run, and then you just got to send them your food, and they'll put it out there to like their 10,000 followers. But there's, as far as I know, there's none in El Monte, but that'd be something.
Almani News has been doing a really good job of highlighting like you and other people. I think they've highlighted you, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, they've been doing a really good job of putting the word out there, I think. But as far as me, for now, I'm going to hold off a slight bit just because I want to make sure I get all the legit shit out of the way, you know, because right now it's a test run. To me, I'm just hosting a bunch of friends this weekend. Okay. If anybody in DC no, I'm just kidding. Anybody in the city listening right now, I am not selling a goddamn thing. I am entertaining and hosting for friends. They just get barbecue for coming and seeing me. But no, you know, that's what I want to make sure to do. I want to do it the right way, and I know I'm not hurting for money right now. You know, I know, like I said, mentioned earlier, I'm out of a job for the summer for now, but I will rebound very quickly. And I've set myself up for like at least a few months where I don't have to worry. And if I do jump on that unemployment, I hear it's pretty good right now.
Some of my friends are killing it. I won't say
So
names, but they're making good money off unemployment.
Yeah, there were like part-time employees begging to be, laid off in order for them to make that sweet unemployment for the time being. So I don't think I'll be hurting anytime soon. So I want to take the time to set it up right, so nobody tells me like, okay, you're burned now, you can't do this shit anymore. And I live in Temple City, so I think they might be a little bit stricter about that because I don't see any food pop up anywhere. But I'm gonna give it a shot, and if not, I'm gonna see. Let me see if I can go somewhere in Almani where somebody will help me out. Because that's my roots, man. Whenever anybody asks where you're from, I still say Almani. I don't. I say I live in Temple City, or when I used to live in Pomona, I live in Pomona. But where are you from? I'm from Almani. So if I can find a good place to post up there, that'd be good. Eventually, I do want to get like a nice little, truck with a big ass pit trailer and all that stuff,
Same.
like you would see at gas stations. That'd be fucking badass, man.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm working with a little tiny smoker. And I'm going to beat the shit out of it. And I apologize to you profusely. Like, it's going to take a beating this weekend. And it's just what's going to have to happen.
And that's the thing. Like, you'll see. Like, even as a test run, the taste buds will speak for themselves, And you'll get the research and development. That's what it is pretty much. Because I did the same thing out here in Moreno Valley. I didn't know social media, no nothing. I threw it on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. And I sold out shrimp cocktails, and 3 days in a row with I don't know anybody. The closest people I know live in Fontana. And so on Sunday, I told my friends, like a small group chat I have, I was like, look, I've been selling these last few days and they're selling like crazy. You guys want to try them? And they're like, yeah, how much? And I told them, well, this is what I sell them for, but I'll let them go a little cheaper for you guys since you're like legit my closest friends. And then everybody's like, I'll take 2, I'll take 3, I'll take 2. And I kid you not, one of the places, the first drop off, he got 4. So he went inside, took 2, and then he came back for the next 2. His mom comes out the front door like, this is delicious. This is delicious. You have something special. Like, run with it. So I was like, cool. The next week, I had to apologize to all my Moreno Valley people, but I was like, look, I'm selling out here. There's way more people. There's way more demand, and all my roots are here. I'm going to get all the support from out here. So now I'll make a small batch for them during the week out here. I'll be like, yo, Wednesday, I'm going to have this many. And if you guys want to come through, first come, first serve. And people will pay in advance. They'll be like, here's your X amount with your 10% tip. Save me whatever. It's like, oh, how do you say no when the money's already in your Venmo, So it kind of just legitimizes it in a way, like when you got strangers, because don't get me wrong, my friends love it, right? They're there once or twice a month. But when you got strangers coming up to you and telling you how delicious it is, you're like, okay, this is crazy. Yeah. I keep sharing it. Moms love us because everybody, how hard it is to impress a mom as far as food. And then they'll be like, dude, my mom loves it. I'm like, that's the best fucking review.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully I can get some country rednecks. I don't know how many there are around here, but to tell me like, that's some quality Q, boy. Actually, it's funny how I like the name Quality Q because I'm gonna be honest, I stole that part, the Quality Q. I remember I was on a trip driving all the way back home from Georgia. I went to go visit my brother out Fort Stewart, Georgia, and his task for me was drive my car back home. So I'm like, shit, that's a road trip. So I took my buddy Whitey with me. We flew to Georgia. We took the fucking little Scion TC or whatever all the way back to California. We stopped for gas in Tennessee, right? There was nothing open. It was a Sunday. It was fucking crazy because it was a dry county. And on Sundays in the Bible Belt, a lot of the southern states there, they don't open shit. So I was like, what the fuck are we going to eat? Because I'm like, there are like 20 restaurants right here, but we can't eat at any of them because they're not open. Finally, off in the distance, as we're driving along, I noticed a fucking bus. It was a barbecue bus. Literally like an old school bus, painted, like barbecue style with brick and like, that kind of motif, and then we walk up to the bus. We're like, shit, I hope they're open. And they, sure enough, were open, and a big, huge, probably about 400-pound black dude pops his big ass head and shoulders out of a tiny little window, right? And he greets us. He goes, "What y'all want?" I'm like, "Oh." It was one of those places, so we made our order and everything. And as we were leaving, we noticed the name of the bus. So it said Scooters, simple name, right? But their tagline was "Quality Q since '92." Nice. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I'm gonna remember that for life. And anytime I have good barbecue, I always kind of point out, damn, that's some quality Q. So I took that part for myself. Smokey O's, it sounds cool. My last name starts with an O. Everybody in the after school world knows me as Mr. O, so that's how Smokey O's and most of the food smoked Quality Q was born.
That's good. And one thing I was telling a couple friends is, established 92, established 97, since 1996, since 2020. Like, I just think it has a good ring to it. I was like, I'm going to tell people I started the podcast in 2020 as opposed to 2019 just because it sounds better.
It does sound a little cooler. Yeah, it's a little cleaner. Yeah. But I think also along the line of some of these products, speaking about the origins of them, I'm going to make this damn barbecue sauce, man. I'm going to bottle it. I want to brand that as well. That's why I created the little logo. This logo is very similar to like my podcast logo. Yeah. It's just the thumbs up picture, but I feel it looks kind of like old timey, has like a, yeah, originally, I'll tell you my idea. I was going to call it, something like along the lines of like Cali Q, like California barbecue. But I figured that if I did that, it would kind of disenfranchise some people because they're like, whoa, California's known for a lot of shit, but they're not known for barbecue. So it might kind of turn some people off to trying it. The California people will all be like, oh, cool. Like, that's, fucking palm trees and sunshine and shit. Like, you're one of us. But like for somebody who might be an import to California and they want some good quality barbecue, somebody from like Texas or southern states, something like that, they might be like, I don't want to try this shit, So I thought, let's keep it simple, But I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to kind of brand some things like that and get that barbecue sauce out, man. It's, the one I'm working on right now is more of a glaze. But that shit, like the way you're proud of your sauce, man, I'm proud of that fucking glaze, because nobody's complained about that. And it works with everything. It works with chicken. It works with beef. It works with pork. Maybe even fish. I don't know. But,
we'll have to try.
Yeah. But everybody's loved it so far, I did try it with a little bit of booze in it, but I got some feedback, from certain people who don't, drink and whatnot. Like, you should try it without the booze. I'm like, try it without the booze. It's even better, So
it's all about trial and error. Yeah,
and definitely want to please people, So I might get different ones out too. Like I told my friend Whitey, I keep talking about him. I'm gonna use your likeness, man, because your name Whitey and you kind of look like a cartoon character. I'm gonna make a teriyaki sauce too. It's gonna be called Mighty Whitey's Wacky Teriyaki.
You say you're not good at marketing.
I mean I'm creative, but I don't know if it works.
I was just messing around with recipes, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was before I even had anything to put the sauce on. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I know I'm going to use this sauce somewhere. And so I posted a picture of just the sauce, right? And they're like, what is that going to go on? At the time, I was only making cocktails. I was like, on everything. And then my friend happened to say, is it good? Is it bomb? And I was like, is that bomb? And then I was like, it's that beady beady bomb. And you know that Selena song, the beady beady bomb? Yeah. And I was like, holy, that eureka moment. I was like, shit. So I went back and I edited pictures. I changed the name, the caption, everything, that beady beady bomb. And now everybody tells me, hey, can you throw that extra beady beady bomb on it? I'm like, hell yeah. So, it just kind of, out of nothing, these things come to fruition. And it's crazy to see, like you said, you already have the name for it. Mm-hmm. I had the sauce. I had nothing to put it on, but I already knew what I wanted it to be called. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of like similarities, a lot of like things where you just kind of, I appreciate people like that. I enjoy seeing things like that. You know, go out on an adventure. You're taking a risk. A lot of people, I don't know how you feel this week, but that week leading up to that blind taste out here, I was nervous as fuck. I'm like, what if they don't sell? What if they don't
Mm-hmm.
like them? What? And it's just that at first, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. They leave and come back and get two for dinner. You know, you're like, oh, okay, cool. They really liked it. You know, they really liked it. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, I try not to get nervous. I try not to get anxious. But at the end of the day, you're just like, fuck. Hopefully it goes
Yeah,
great.
and I think I'm a little weird in the sense that I love the nerves, you know, because ever since, you know, I think last podcast I touched a lot on how I love doing wrestling, you know. Ever since those days, I learned to love and accept the nerves because sometimes, like, you know, I was a freshman going in there as a fucking varsity wrestler, maybe weighing 235 pounds, wrestling guys that are 280, right? And like you're gonna get, you know, naturally be like nervous about something like that. But I learned to really really enjoy those nerves because I'm thinking about like what am I gonna do, like how am I gonna overcome that. And right now in my head I'm like, okay, cool, I have a lot of shit to do, I have a lot of shit to do, you know. But on the other side of my head I'm already kind of trying to figure out like solutions, you know. All the problems are here on one side, all the solutions are here, and I'm plugging them in and I'm seeing if they work or not. But I don't know. I just it's a good anticipation for me, you know, because I do have like those little voices like, oh, but that shit's gonna not work, it's gonna fail, blah blah blah, you know. But I don't know. I usually beat those voices out of my head by doing a good job.
Same. It's fun to look at. I mean, I don't want to, because that was 2 months ago for me. You get me? So I remember that week, like just like fuck. Now I look back and I'm like, dude, can't believe you were worried. You know, I had the confidence, the most confidence I could have in myself. Like this is gonna go great. But then when you lay down, the TV's off, the phone's charging, and you're just kind of there by yourself, and you're like, I wonder how many I'm gonna sell. I wonder if this is gonna go great. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you know, you start you know what you're doing. You've been doing this for a long time. You put the time, the effort. You got the best quality ingredients. Like people are gonna enjoy all these things. You shut them up, but it's those 5 minutes that you're there doubting yourself, kind of like you're like, those 5 minutes last an eternity because you're just, at least for myself, I was like, Hector, you're better than this. You're better than this. Don't do this to yourself. Tomorrow's a big day.
Mm-hmm.
Get some rest and be ready for it. And then you just kind of start beating yourself up over it. And you're like, no, you know what? It's going to sell out. I'm going to do great. People are going to love it. They're going to come back. And then you finally get some sleep. But then the day goes out and you're like, dude, that was amazing. Let's do it again tomorrow. And those nerves are gone. But it's just that those 2-3 days of, at least for me, were like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, where I was just like, oh, fuck. Are you sure you're ready for this? Are you sure you're ready for it? I even bought some things that, like containers, unnecessary containers, because I was like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm at the store. I could still back out. Nobody knows about this. There's no Instagram page. There's no nothing. Nobody will ever know that this even crossed my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm buying these dumbass containers because this is where I'm going to store things in. And as soon as I have the containers, I'm already invested. And that's exactly what happened with me. Got them. And now looking back about 2 months ago, I'm like, I can't believe there was a night where I was seriously considering just not doing it. Like, even though I had the things, I had the produce in the fridge, I had everything ready to go for Friday, I was like, nobody will ever know that you even didn't attempt, you know? And I was like, you're a fucking pussy, Hector. Fucking go for it. And then now we're here.
Yeah, I mean, it helps have that confidence. You know, I mean, I think it's for me, just speaking for myself, borderline, a little bit of cockiness has always helped a little bit because you know what you're good at, you know, and nobody can tell you you're not good at it because you've proven over and over again, like, yes, I am, you know. So that's why, like, again, to kind of give that analogy, that's why going back to something like wrestling by the time I was a senior, you know, people had like doubts like, oh, you're not going to beat this guy, you're not going to do well. In my head, I'm like, I know who the fuck I am. I know what I've done already. I've already done the hard part. I've done the practice, you know. The hardest part, I think, is getting started, you know. And if once you've gotten, because you have to internally kind of, you know, beat that shit out of your head, right? And so once you've gotten past that biggest hurdle, all it is now is that you're just putting the pieces into place, right? You're making that beautiful music because you've already composed it now. You're just putting everything together. You're laying it all out, and you're creating what you've already imagined, you know. And I can't speak from like, hey, I've already served people, but in my head, you know, I'm already trying to get ahead of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not good to live like too much in the future, but I already know that it's going to be a good, it's going to be a good turnout. The food's going to be great. You know, people are going to enjoy it. And that's why I'm not so concerned about it, because I've been practicing this shit for months now, you know, smoking food every day. I know it's going to be good. I know what I can do. And that little tiny bit of cockiness right there with a hell of a lot of confidence, and knowing that I've already taken the steps, that's what's helped me get through those initial, maybe kind of, you know, nerves there.
And funny that you mentioned it too, because sometimes I'll get there early, right? I'll post up, let's say at 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. I'll show up like everything's ready like half an hour before. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell my helper, whoever it may be, like, you want to eat now? Or you want to eat during, whenever you want, you know, it's up to you. They're usually kind of hungry. It's around afternoonish already, so they want to get something in their stomach. So I'll cook something up for us. And then I'll be like, fuck, this is fucking good, dude. Like, this is fucking good. Mm-hmm. How is people going to complain when this shit is fucking bomb? Like, mm-hmm. And I'm eating it like, dude, this is on another level. Like, I would pay to buy this, you know, so people are going to pay to eat this.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of like that reassurance, like, all right, dude, this is what I'm serving. You know, this ain't no fucking cheap shit. This is quality. They're going to taste the quality. They're going to taste the freshness. So I'm just kind of like, why am I tripping? You know, because like you said, like that confidence comes back, feels good. And then you get your helper be like, dude, this is fucking bomb, dude. This is fucking, and you're just like, are you saying that because you're my friend? Or are you saying like, no, dude, this is on another level. Like, I'm going to have to get some to go. Like,
yeah, because like, just like you said with your helper, you know, I have my brothers who I hope would be the toughest critics of my food because they're the toughest critics of everything else. You know, and every time I make food, I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with it? Like, what would you change? You know, and they won't give me an answer, and they almost start fucking arguing because I'm like, tell me what the fuck to fix, you know? And no, they really enjoy it, you know, and I think if there was something that they didn't enjoy, they would tell me, and it would be the first thing that they'd point out, you know. But even sometimes when I know, like, I wasn't completely satisfied with let's say a rack of ribs, I didn't smoke it long enough, so it wasn't tender enough, or maybe some of the meat was a little dry, right? I noticed that, right? But to them, even because I would consider like that, let's say that rack was like 75%. If I wanted 100% good, and that rack was 75%, even my 75%, you know, they're telling me it's great, you know? So I don't know if that's a false confidence or not, or if it's just that, you know, I'm being super critical of myself.
We're our biggest critic.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I think, again, a lot of the confidence stems from, because it's like, all right, there's nothing wrong with it. Even if I feel like I fucked up, you know, it's still something that people enjoy, you know?
I use fresh mangoes, right? 2 weeks ago, I peeled them and I was chopping them, and I needed 6. And 4 were good, but the other 2 were just, they're not there yet. You know, they were still a little, and I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to the supermarket. It's like 15 minutes that way, 15 minutes back. And like for 2 mangoes, I'm like, I don't feel confident serving these 2, because they're going to be mixed in, right? It's only 1/3 of the mixture. But let's say most of your bite is this not as ripe as I would want it. It might not blow your mind. It might still be good, but it won't blow your fucking mind like I want it to. So to get that taste, I need to go. And I went and I bought 4 just in case 2 of them came out whack. And I was like, and the next day I was like, nobody's even noticed the mangoes. Who gives a fuck? It's just a topping on top of many other things. Like 4 different people were like, dude, where do you get your mangoes? I was just at fucking the supermarket on Tuesday and they were all fucking green. And I was just like, people notice these things, you know, and that's the difference. Because these little things add up, you know. It's not just about the freshness of the mangoes. It's not just about the freshness of the shrimp or the fish. Everything accumulated is a big difference. And so that's why I tell everybody, don't cut corners. Like I said, this is how I would serve my family. You get as much toppings as they would, you know. It's not like I skimp out on this because it's fucking whatever. Like, no, you're paying the same price, you're getting the same result. And yeah, I mean, I could talk about it all day. It's been fun. There's other things I want to try. I actually had I just journal, right?
Mm.
And I had done like either burgers, fried chicken, seafood, or barbecue.
Mm.
And I actually, because you mentioned name, I was like, I'm gonna make, people like Southern chicken, Southern barbecue.
Mm.
I was gonna make it like deep, deep South, because I'm from Jalisco, like so it's like super South,
Yeah.
fucking south of the border barbecue.
Yeah.
But I never ran with that one just because I'm good, but I'm not great at it. You know what I mean? Like I know
Mm.
that it would take a long time for me to be there where I would want to be. Whereas with this, I was already know like this is one of my strong suits. I was like, I'm gonna run with this because I know it's not gonna take a lot of work. But yeah, the burgers is something that I'm gonna probably experiment like in the summer, just as starts, warming. Well, there's gonna be triple digits this weekend, but just kind of sometimes a good burger is just,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of things on the horizon, but um, anything you want to talk about? Anything I missed? Anything?
No, that's just really those two things right there would be great if people could check that out. The Ignorance to Strength podcast. We're doing well. I love it, man. We're chugging along. I'm already booked up to 20 something guests, and we're
Nice.
only at episode 13, which is going to air on Sunday. So it's already ahead of schedule. It's ahead of the game. I do definitely. I was still trying to get you scheduled on there,
Oh,
but
dude, no.
I looked ahead. I'm like, shit, man. I still got all these people. So maybe episode number 25 or something like that. A good little.
Whenever you're good, man, do your thing. I am supporting it. I'm gonna put a sticker on this bad boy, on the
Sure.
grill and the what else was it on the cooler.
Cooler.
So
Yeah.
I got
So
you.
those will be in the mail tomorrow.
Okay, and then I placed my order. This is real. I placed my order, 2 plates, both are 3 meats. One is with bacon, mac and cheese, and green beans. The other is bacon, mac and cheese, and corn. So I'm not just saying I'm gonna try this. It looks delicious. I can't wait to try it, and I'll give you feedback for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Plug your show. Plug your food. Well, I mean,
Yep.
you don't have a page for it yet, but
No, when I do, I'll throw it out there. Again, just want to legitimize first. But as far as the podcast, social media goes, on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast, all one phrase. Ignorance is Strength Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. On the super duper lonely, sad as hell Twitter with 6 followers, it's at the Ignorance Pod. And the reason for that though is I'm like, I have no idea how to use Twitter.
I have no idea.
It seems like people just go on there and repost shit and bitch at each other. Like there's no real anything on there. People like on Facebook, Instagram, people share pictures like their family. They talk about shit that's going on. Twitter, I'm like, what the fuck is this? People are retweeting things and bitching at each other.
It's crazy. I feel like it's like a younger platform. So that's why I'm not that I'm good at Facebook or Instagram, but I just don't have an audience there either. It's tough. There's a few listens that come from there. There's a few people that reached out that they found us there, but it's just kind of like, it's so hard. At least for me, I know there's some people say that it's like, you got to retweet and post what you like on I need social media person or somebody because that's all too much. Pleasure as always, Fabian. Fabian, this isn't a self-help podcast, but we have a little tradition here called Words of Wisdom. Could be about anything or about everything, just something for the audience.
All right, so I'm going to keep the same theme as I did last time. Last time I talked a little bit of diapers and shit. It's kind of disgusting, but this time I'm going to give you a little bit more of a practical, a bit of advice here. And my words of wisdom: invest in a bidet. Your ass will thank you. The planet will thank you. And, I just got one. I installed it. And, I'm not really using toilet paper as much anymore. And, once you get over that little sneak attack from behind with the water, it's the coolest thing ever, man. I'm like, I think every fucking public bathroom should have one. It's actually more sanitary, less wasteful. Everybody invest in a bidet. Get it tomorrow. $30, Amazon.
Nice. All right. Thank you for joining me. Nobody loves you. Hector loves you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
All right, man.